All right, good morning. I'm making a video today on how to complete a falls report and how to basically take a look at a falls packet that's in here. It's got steps on there already, but I'm gonna go through it one by one on how to properly complete them and also how to access them on a shared drive and opening these programs on Matrix. So let's take a look at the shared drive real quick. Over here we got this computer right here, and if we don't have a copy of the falls report, we can always get a copy on the shared drive. So you go over on your computer, you go on the shared drive, which is right here. I'm just gonna zoom in real quick right there, and you go to the shared drive, and then you'll go down to resource nurse at the bottom right here, and then there should be fall packets at the very bottom right here. There's a fall packet, so we're just gonna click that, and the fall folders here, and then of course you have your fall packet right there, and but there's basically 3 of these, and one of which is the NeuroCheck, and then also the SLC 341, which is the form that we fill out if somebody is injured or goes out to the hospital, or if there has been a report of abuse. A lot of times we'll fill this out, but we're gonna focus specifically on falls. If somebody had a fall and they injured themselves, had a fracture, go to the hospital, just make sure you open this up and you fill this out in paper form, and then we send them out as directed on this sheet of paper. We fill them out. Okay. Going back to this 3 piece of paper right here, if you look at the falls report packet, the form, the very first one up here will tell you to do the NeuroCheck. Now, so you had a fall and the patient hit his head, or maybe an unwitnessed fall, and we got to complete the NeuroCheck. And what that is basically a form that needs to be filled out every shift for 72 hours. Okay, and so this is a form that we have to kind of print out and basically fill out. So it's pretty simple. As a nurse, this should be pretty easy. Okay, I don't really need to go over it, because we already know how to fill that out. So just make sure you're filling out the NeuroCheck in terms of unwitness or head injury type of situation. And then the other form we fill out, like I said, is the SOC form if somebody injured themselves. And so fill that out as well. Okay, so moving over to the step 2 on the fall report, which is right here. It says fall event under the event tab. You'll open up a fall event. Okay, so you'll pop on the patient, and you'll go under resident, and then you'll move over to events. Okay, so you open up an event, and then under here you'll go under add an event. So Goldberg fall event right there. And basically what you want to do is you want to make sure the date and the time is correct when the fall happened. You want to put in their fall event, and then if you want to preview what's on this form, you can always do this event preview right here. Event preview will give you a prevent preview what that fall report is. The second thing on step 2 is immediately open orders for vital sign according to NeuroCheck schedule. So basically you're adding an order on Matrix for full vitals every shift. So that way you can take those vitals too and put them on your NeuroCheck form, which is right here, NeuroCheck form. So just go on Matrix and add an order. There should already be a template on there for vital signs. You can just edit it, and then you can just add it on there. Also, nurse's note, obviously you're gonna put your nurse's note on there. You're gonna create a care plan on Matrix, and if we don't already know how to do that, obviously you're gonna need to go on the resident tab right there, and you're gonna go on the resident tab, I'm sorry, you're gonna go, not resident tab, but you're gonna go under care planning. Okay, and then under care planning, you're just gonna add a care plan, or add a problem, I'm sorry. Select from template, and then on here, fall risk is obviously it's a care plan that should have been open already. It's not something that we click upon a fall. Post fall incident, this is the care plan you need to open. Post fall incident care plan. So we're going back over to the care plan here. Once you add the care plan for the fall, the post fall, you're gonna have your problem start date, which is right here, but also your goal target date. Because this is a short-term type of care plan, it's gonna have to be 72 hours. Even at the bottom here, to tell you that this patient is not gonna have any kind of ill effect from the fall for the next 72 hours. So obviously, if the fall happened today on the 7th, you're gonna count 3 days or 72 hours from the day. Okay, and then you're gonna input that date as your goal target, that this patient is not gonna have any kind of issues regarding fall in the next 72 hours. Okay, and this care plan should be completed within that 72 hours. Okay, the other thing we got to do with care plan is that we got to go back into the resident original care plan under the fall risk assessment, and so you're going to have to go back over here as far as REI goes. Let me just cancel this real quick here. So under REI care planning, add a problem here. So in here, from select from template, this fall risk assessment right here, that's a care plan that should have been opened upon admission. And obviously we open a care plan here, the fall risk post fall, I believe, right? Post fall, this post fall incident is what we opened upon a fall. Okay, so that's the 72 hour. And then hair care plan, as far as fall risk, we need to update it. Okay, so going back to the fall risk assessment, we talked about the short-term care plan, but going back to the long-term care plan, if you go over to the resident who fell down, you go to RAI and her long-term care plan, which is this right here. Oh no, this one right here, at risk for falls injuries. That's a long-term care plan. As you can see, resident will not have incidents of falls for 3 months. Upon the fall, you can add intervention on there. You can go evaluation notes, and then you can go under add a note. Okay, so I just kind of made an example here today. She had a fall on May 1, so obviously on here you can add a note on that day. This day she had a fall or whatever, and if you added an intervention, you'd add it in here. Okay, like maybe there's a bed alarm, we added a bed alarm today. But it's always good to have an intervention of some kind to a recent fall. If you find out and you add something on there, just make sure you're adding it on the long-term care plan. Stick with the evaluation notes. This is the whole care planning thing. It's been updated and renewed in the last couple of months, so it's actually very easy to use now, user friendly. So that's long-term care plan. Remember, there's 2 care plans. If you look in here under care plan, and then if you add a care plan because somebody fell down, you can go to template, select the template. This fall risk right here it should already have been done upon admission, because this is a long-term care plan. The short-term care plan that's related to a fall is going to be under post fall, which is right here. You'll need to open that, okay, after a fall, right here, post fall incident care plan, and that's the one that's short-term. Okay, that's for 72 hours. So this is what you need to add, and you'll need to have a DC date 72 hours from the fall. Okay, so remember, once there's a fall, open a care plan for post fall, and then update your long-term care plan, which is the fall risk care plan. Okay, so the last step two is, or on the E part right right here. So step 2 is telling you to basically open a post-fall observation. Okay, if you remember, once there's a fall, we go under events, just right here, and then you open a fall event. That's right here. Once you do the fall event, there's also an observation. You go under resident and you go under observations, and this is the event where you need to acquire a CNA basically note. So right here under falls, you go post fall observation, and you can do a preview of what that looks like, but a statement of witness, or if I witness statement of CNA assigned to resident, basically get a note from the CNA, have them write down what they observed in the last hour or so before the fall, and then you'll just have to basically write that down on here as far as CNAs goes, because you got to have people accountable for the falls, and we want to make sure that if the CNA is taking care of that patient, that they're actually observing the patient before the fall, and also we need to show that we were actually taking care of this patient, you know, in the right manner. So it's a pretty lengthy observation, but a lot of it is just basically clicking. Okay, so you just click, but the most important thing on there, like I said, is going to be the CNA report, which you just have them write down on a piece of paper, and then you can just type it over on here. So the last thing on this step 2 is request a PT eval if appropriate. If the patient is no longer in PT and you feel that they can benefit from PT, you can just send an email to Jalinda. Step 3, this is pretty self-explanatory. Notify the following individual. Obviously, you call the DPOA, MD, hospice is applicable. Always call hospice and notify them if there's new orders, or if there's change of condition, or if there's a fall. And then obviously DON, you want to notify the DON, neuro check, possible head injury. The rest of the stuff is pretty easy to do. So the most important thing is that on step 1, you'll need to do a neuro check, which is paper form. The SOC is a paper form. And then on step 2, you'll need to open a fall event. And then the other thing that we did was the observation that we did. Okay, and then under care planning, obviously there's a long-term and then there's a short-term care plan. So any questions, let me know.